Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the place where you learn new skill every time you visit. So keep updating yourself by subscribing to the channel.
In this video, we'll discuss the use of nested loop and output questions of nested loop, how the nested loop gives the output and how it works. Okay, so let's start. Okay, let's start with the first output question which we have here. So the question says, now while we're doing the output question, which it's always advisable for you to make a table, right? What the table consists of? The table will consist of the I, the variables involved in the code. So the variable involved are I, so I put I. Then there's one more variable j, I put j, and then you put the O, which is for output. So this way the things becomes easier for you to find out the output. Now you go step by step. You enter the loop. What is the first value of I? 1. So your I is going to be 1. Then the print statement always gives you the outputs, right? So here it says print I to the power 2. So that means 1 to the power 2. So what is 1 to the power 2? 1 to the power 2 is 1. So your output is 1, right? Now there's no semicolon here. There's no semicolon in front of it. So that means the next output will come on the next line. So just after that thing, you with your pencil put a marker here so that you come to know the next output should come here. Otherwise you will forget, right? Now you enter, you come to the third step, the J is 1. So your J is 1. Now the print, again it is going to give you an output and it's going to give you I minus j. So I was 1, j was 1. What is 1 minus 1? 0. So here it's going to print 0. Now here is the continuity sign. Here there was no continuity sign, so it went to the next line. Here there's a continuity sign, so the next output will come in front of it. You just keep a mark for this output in front of it. Now j loop will further go. The first value of j was 1. Now the next value of j will become 2. So I still remains 1, j becomes 2. So I minus j. 1 minus 2 is minus 1. So it's going to print minus 1 here. Alright. After that, the j loop will end. So when the j loop will end, after that you have a new line statement. This will make the cursor go to the next line. Okay. So your cursor or your next printing will happen on the next line. Now it goes back from next I, goes to the second repetition or second iteration of the I loop. I with I equals to 1 we are done. Now with I equals to 2 we have to do. So I equals to 2. Again it encounters this one and it says I to the power 2. So that means 2 to the power 2 and 2 to the power 2 is 4. So it's going to give the output 4 here. Now it doesn't have any continuity sign. So the next output will come on the next line. So put a mark here. It enters the loop. The next value of j is 1. The first value of j is 1 rather. And then it prints I minus j, 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1, so it's going to print 1. Now the next value of j, sorry, it's going to print 1 but below it. Okay, it won't print in continuity because there was no semicolon involved here. So it's going to print uh, 1 here, 1 here. Then the next repetition of j will happen and j will becomes 2. So with I value of I became being 1, your j becomes 2. Now it comes here and prints you the output because of the print statement and I minus j, 2 minus 2 is 0. But it will be in front of it because the previous printing has a continuity sign. So printing will happen here 0. Now it will go for the last repetition. After that it will come here and there's a print statement, new line statement. So next printing will happen here. Now it will go for the last 3/3 repetition of I. So I becomes 3. It will print I to the power 2, that is 3 to the power 2, which is 9. So it's going to print 9 here. Now there's no continuity sign here, right? There's no continuity sign here. So next printing will happen on the next line here. First value of j is 1. So put j1 here. Now this is I minus j. So 3 minus 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2. So it's going to print 2. Now continuity sign is there. So the next print will happen in front of it. It comes here, goes for the next value of j, which is 2. So now I was 3 and j is 2. So 3 minus 2 is 1. So it's going to print 1 here. Okay. Now j loop ends. The new line will happen. I will also end, 3 repetition done, and this is the output. Now basically, so the output is 1, 0, minus 1. The next one was 4, 1, 0. This I'm noting down from here only. Then 9, 2, and 1. Okay, so this is the way you find the output. Let's do one more question, few more questions, so you'll understand it better. So let's go to the next slide. Let me erase this things, and let's go to the next slide. Okay, so when I go to the next slide, this is the next one which we have to do. So let me pull out the markers. Right. Again, same way, I'll have the two columns. Three columns rather, one for the I, one for the J, one for the output. So the headings are going to be I, J, O. It enters the loop, I equals to 1, so I will be 1. It comes here and there's a print statement, so it will be going to give you output. It will say I and a space. So I is 1, so it's going to print 1 and a little space. And then it has a continuity sign, so that means the next printing is going to happen here in front of it. It enters the J loop. The J loop, the first value of J loop is 5, 5. And it prints I into J, so 1 into 5, which is 5. All right, let me just make this column a little bigger so that I can accommodate all the values. Now the next value of J is, after 5 it will be 6. The next value of J is 6. So I was 1, J became 6, and I into J. So 1 into 6, 6 in front of it. Again, semicolon is there. Next printing will also happen in front of it. Next value of J becomes 7. So I was always 1, then it became 7. So 1 into 7 is 7. Similarly, I was 1, J is 8, 1 into 8 is 8. I was 1, J is 9, 1 into 9 is 9. I was 1, J is 10, 1 into 10 is 10. So now the J loop has finished from 5 to 10. Once the J loop finishes, it goes to the next line, it finds a new line statement. So now next printing is going to happen on the next line. All right. Now we'll go for the next value of I. So once this lot is repeated, the next value of I is going to be after 1 is going to be 2. So we'll put 2 here. Now again, the first value of J is going to be 5. All right. So it will print, sorry, first it will print value of I. Okay, because before coming here, this statement is encountered. So yeah, so after I is 2, it will come here and prints 2. So it will print 2 and with a little space in between. Then it comes here and J becomes 5. So J becomes 5 and inside it prints I into J. 2 into 5, 10. Now I remains 2, J becomes 6 because next value of J is 6. 2 into 6, 12. I still remains 2, J becomes 7. 2 into 7, 14. I remains 2, J becomes 8. 2 into 8, 16. I remains 2, J becomes 9. 2 into 9, 18. I is 2, J is 10. 2 into 10, 20. And similarly, in your exam, you can put dash, dash, dash. Or similarly, you will find the output of others. We can do it quickly for the last value of I, which is 5. So somehow this all will continue and ultimately at the bottom, or I can guess it out also here, I have found the pattern here. Now I can say 3, 3 into 3 into 5, 15, 3 into 6, 18, 3 into 7, 21, 3 into 8, 24, 3 into 9, 27, 3 to 10, 30. So this way I'm going to find the output of this question, right? Okay, let's go to the next page and see what is the next one. Okay, now I'll erase this all things and we'll make a table again for this. So I, J, and output. So I, J, and O. I is 1, so it enters and prints 1. Now there's no printing before this, so printing will not happen. Output will not come right now. J is 2, so J is 2. It gets a print statement which says I and I plus J. So I means, I'll just increase this space, this column bit. So I is 1, so 1, and in front of it with a space I plus J, 1 plus 2, 3. Now there's no continuity in front of it, so it will going to be, next printing will happen on the next line. Now next value of J is 3. After 2 it will become 3. So I remains 1, J becomes 3. So it prints I, which will always be, which is still now 1, and 1 plus J, I plus J, 1 plus 3, 4. Again the next value of J is going to be 3. So I remains 1, J becomes, sorry, next value of J is going to be 4 after 3. 4, so it's going to print 1, which is I, and 1 plus 4, which is 5. Again, next value of J becomes 5, so I is 1, J is 5, it'll print I, which is 1, and with a space it'll print 1 plus 5, 6. Similarly, I is 1 and J is 6 is going to print I, and I plus J is 7. Now, when this lot is finished, sorry, when this lot is finished, it's going to go for the next value of I. So next value of I is 2. Now we'll start with 2. J will again start from 2 to 6. So I will remain 2. So 2 and 2. So it will print 2 and then sum of them 4. Then 2 and 3. So it will print 2. This is getting printed because of this. It prints only I. Whatever value of I is there, it's going to print here. So now 2 plus 5, 7. 2, 4. So 2 and 2 plus 4, 6. So this 2 plus 3 is 5, not 7, I'm sorry. So this was 5. Then 2, then 5. So 2 and 2 plus 5 is 7. Then 2 and 6, and 2 and 2 plus 6 is 8. This way, it'll go one more time and give you the output. So this is going to be the output for this particular thing. This is 2 lines of the output. Similarly, it will do for the 3. Okay. Sure. Next, go to the next one. I'll remove this marker. Okay. Now here, something new. The loop is going with step -1. Now step -1 is nothing. It means the loop values will decrease. Step -1 means decreasing. So now you'll have I, you'll have J, you'll have O. So I is 5, J is 1. It prints J, which is 1. Semicolon. So next printing should happen in continuity. But if you observe, this loop goes from 1 to I. So the first value of I is 5. Okay. So it'll go from 1 to 5. So next value of J is going to be 2. So I is 5, J is 2. Is going to print J, which is 2 in front of it because the continuity sign was there. Let me increase the width of this. Now I is 5, j is 3. So it'll print the j, which is 3. I is 5, j is 4. So it's going to print 4. This was 3. I is 5 and j is 5. Is going to print 5. So when this repetition has finished, new line will happen. It will go to now next printing will happen here. Next value of j is going to be 4 because it is decreasing, right? So I is 4. Again, j will start from 1. J is 1. But the printout is for j. So it's going to print the value of j, which is 1. So again, it will print 1. Now I is 4, j is 2. It's going to print j, which is 2. I is 4, j is 3. Going to print j, which is 3. I is 4, j is 4. Going to print j, which is 4. I is 4 and j is 5. Going to print j, which is 5. So this way it will continue and do the printing for all values of j. So 5 times this thing will happen. All right. Let's see if we have any more question over here. One more is there. So let's finish that up. Okay. So again, table. It's kind of similar only, but instead of printing j in the previous question, we are printing I, j, and O. So I is 5, j is 1. Is going to print I. Now what is the value of I? 5. So it's going to print 5. Okay. And this process will continue because the j loop has not ended. Okay. So j loop has not ended. So the next value of j is going to be, because this will go from 1 to 5. Next value of j is 2. So I remains 5. J becomes 2. But it's going to print I, which is 5. I remains 5. J becomes 3. It's going to print I, which is 5. I remains 5. J becomes 4. It's going to print I, which is 5. So I is 5. J is 5. I is 5. J is 5. So it's going to print 5. Now when the j loop has repeated 5 times, it will go to new line. So next printing will happen here. Now next value of j after 5 in decreasing order is going to be 4. So it is 4, right? And now the first value of j is going to be 1. So 1. But it is printing j, so it will print 4. Now I is 4, j is 2, it will print j, which is 4. I is 4, j is 3, print j, which is 4. I is 4, j is 4, print j, which is 4. I is 4, j is, now it won't go to 5, right? Because it goes to the value of I. Now I is 4, so it will go to 4 time only. So this will print this much only. So similarly, with value, when the value of I becomes 3, it'll print this 3 times. It'll print the value of I 3 times. J equals to 1 to 3. Okay. When j I becomes 2, it prints it 2 times. I becomes 1, it prints it 1 time. So this is going to be the output for this. Okay. So that's it with the output questions. So just go through this, practice this, and you will be able to understand it. You need to practice the output question, then only you get. There's no specific method for this. Okay. So see you in the next video.
If you are new to the channel, please subscribe it. Also press the bell notification so that you get notification as soon as I release a new video. Share and like the video.